Next on Worcester News tonight, the city making moves to update and take better control of its water systems. Plus, could a third airline be coming to Worcester? The city weighing in tonight. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Anna Botari. Worcester has more than 1,200 miles of water mains and pipes they must maintain. Some are more than a century old. The city is looking to improve the quality of its water services with an all-new integrated water resources plan. Our Cam Jandro joins us now live with more. Cam?
Anna, this is the first time the city is trying an integrated plan, and they've been working on it for about 2 years now. If passed next year, Worcester will be able to make the calls on its water system instead of the EPA. The city of Worcester wants more control when it comes to their water system. DPW Commissioner Paul Moosey hopes the new integrated water management plan gives them the opportunity.
We don't want EPA in Washington or even in Boston, deciding what Worcester should be doing with its limited resources. We want to say, look, we know what our priorities should be.
The plan would focus on improving the quality of drinking water, as well as sewage and storm services. City Manager Ed Augustus says the city is expanding, and the aging water system is a concern.
As the city grows and as we have an old infrastructure system, its ability to kind of meet the demands of an ever-changing, growing city are something that we need to stay on top of.
Environmental safety must also be considered in the plan. Right now, the city filters more than 8 billion gallons of water for nearly 200,000 residents. But some water mains in Worcester are more than a century old.
They go back to the Civil War in a lot of cases. And, failures of those systems impact the environment, even just their condition where they allows leaching and, things like that.
The department says rates have seen a 400% increase in the last 14 plus years. The hope is the integrated plan will help Worcester maintain affordability for its residents and business owners.
Because if we just did everything EPA wanted us to do on the schedule they wanted us to do it, the rates would go up dramatically.
We can have even more beneficial impact on our water and sewer, protect our environment, but also be sensitive to the ability to pay of our ratepayers here in the city of Worcester.
Now, the city's DPW will be working on the plan and taking public comment on it until February of 2019. They will then present it to the EPA. Anna?
Thanks, Cam. Senate President Harriet Chandler in Worcester tonight discussing legislative priorities of the environmental community. It's an opportunity for the community to express their support before the legislature ends its session. Chandler and her environmental leadership team gave those in attendance an update on the progress of the environmental legislation. Tonight they discussed 3 bills the coalition thinks are the most important facing the legislature, including one on climate change.
So I just want to mention quickly the sponsor aimed at reducing the use of fossil fuels and hoping to lessen the threat of climate change in our state and making Massachusetts a leader in the nation, creating jobs and reducing the use of fossil fuels.
We think that they wanted an environmental bill, and that's what we've written. We filed it, and we hope that we can get it through the Senate first, and then we'd like to get it through the House of Representatives.
This is the first in a series of steps the Environmental Action League of Massachusetts is taking to increase its presence and grow the influence of the environmental community across the state. The Worcester County District Attorney's Office recognizes young attorneys in its mock trial competition. The competition is a training program for assistant district attorneys. They work with judges in a mock trial situation. In this scenario, the trial involved a robbery. The lawyers were broken up into 2 groups, prosecutors and defense attorneys, all while being coached by mentors.
And on your skills to cross-examine and give an opening, give a closing, and then get feedback, and really allows you to focus on those skills rather than just being in a courtroom and doing your day-to-day job.
Were chosen to move to the next round, where they will compete against other lawyers in Massachusetts. Alana Richard was also the recipient of the Cassius Smith Trial Advocacy Award. Cassius Smith was a trial lawyer and a mentor in the program who passed away.
Cassius Smith spent several years out in Fitchburg, which is where I am now, and I hear constantly not only was she a great trial attorney, but she was a great person as well. So to be honored in her memory is really a great honor.
The next round will take place on May 24th at the Suffolk Superior Court. In an effort to reduce police response times, safety technology could alert law enforcement of an active shooter in a school in a matter of seconds. And soon, Worcester Public Schools will be supplied with the new life-saving technology, Enforce 911. Our Chandler Walsh has more.
In just seconds, the entire police department can be alerted there's an active school shooter. Soon, Worcester Public Schools will be equipped with this technology called Enforce 911. The safety app will allow schools to communicate directly with Worcester Police.
All they need to do is double-click on that application as a two-step process, and it instantly sends an alert to law enforcement in field, in the communications center, and the cell phones of officers.
School staff can send alerts from any device and send locations and descriptions to police. Police can also receive building floor plans and live camera feeds. School safety director Robert Pizzella says parents can feel a little better knowing Worcester schools are being proactive.
This program is going to protect their children. They're going to be able to minimize harm and, most importantly, get their children home safe.
Enforce Technology CEO Brandon Flanagan says there have been at least 20 school shootings so far in 2018, and schools across the country need to be prepared. The Danvers-based technology firm aims to alert police of threats in 12 seconds or less, compared to a phone call, which can take 4 to 6 minutes.
We recognize the importance of reducing police response time and getting our first responders in the building as effectively and efficiently as possible.
The technology can also be used for other active threats and allow police to alert schools of threats in the community.
Principals of school buildings call me sometimes and say, why are helicopters or why are cops around my school? Well, this software application would allow local law enforcement to notify schools and let them know what's going on.
Flanagan says the app's work to shorten response time will save lives.
Having 3 sons and a little girl on the way, I want to make sure that we can protect these schools.
Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.
2 people are rescued this morning when their sailboat capsizes on Middle Pond in Webster. According to police, the boat overturned, leaving a man and woman stranded on top of it. Webster police were able to use their own boat to rescue them. They were safely brought to shore to dry off and warm up. Meanwhile, Webster EMS and rescue boat crews were able to flip the boat and bring it to shore. Could a third airline be coming to the Worcester Regional Airport? Massport chairman of the board, Sheriff Lou Evangelitis, says he's hopeful there'll be an announcement by the end of the year. Right now, JetBlue offers flights to Orlando, Fort Lauderdale, and starting 2 weeks ago, New York. In October, American Airlines will start offering flights to Philadelphia.
We have an expectation that if the news continues to grow and the buzz in the community is there and the support is there, that there's other airlines looking at Worcester Regional Airport. And we're very hopeful we may be able to put together another announcement with another airline by the end of the year.
City Manager Edward Augustus also weighing in.
We're always excited about continuing to grow the Worcester Airport and look for additional airlines and additional options for air travelers. I would say there's nothing imminent, but we're constantly working with our partners at Massport to try to expand options at Worcester Airport.
Evangelitis says the momentum of the airport is positive for the city. With one medical marijuana facility already in town, Leicester may be growing in the industry. In a vote Tuesday, Board of Selectmen voted in favor of a host agreement with 2 more establishments coming to town. Our Brittany Schaefer has the story.
Marijuana businesses will likely keep growing in Leicester after the Board of Selectmen voted in favor of a host agreement with 2 marijuana companies.
It's a win-win for both the companies and the town.
East Coast Organics and Cannassist will be bringing recreational marijuana distribution facilities to the area, along with a promise for economic growth for the town.
They each have 2 licenses, one for cultivation, one for production, so $75,000 apiece. over both businesses. So we get the total of $300,000 a year. They're estimating about 400 jobs, and they have expressed a willingness to do a local hiring preference.
We like to hire minority women and locals and support the area in general.
Assistant to the town administrator, Kristen Forsberg, says the added $300,000 a year plus property taxes the new businesses will pay will help the town in places they are currently struggling.
We are very tight in our operating budget right now. The schools department's actually had to do some layoffs for the coming year. We probably have about $4 million in capital needs. So this will be a great inroad towards making those improvements.
The two companies are looking at sharing an abandoned building on Huntoon Memorial Highway. Candace's president says Leicester is the perfect location.
Centrally located in Massachusetts, the town can benefit from our being there. We are experienced in all levels of operation, and we know how to do this according to Massachusetts regulations and standards.
The next step for the two companies is to get a license from the Cannabis Control Commission. Candace says they hope to open and start growing in early 2019. Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
A free event for seniors and their caregivers Wednesday featured guest speakers discussing topics including health and wellness and public safety issues like the opioid epidemic. Sheriff Lou Evangelitis, District Attorney Joseph Early Jr., and Dr. Keith Darrow were some of the speakers at Eldercare 2018. The main focus of today's event was to engage at every age. Speakers talked to the elderly about how they can become more involved in their community.
Staying young, staying engaged, staying part of the community, understanding what's going on, and just being able to be a part.
The event was sponsored by the Central Massachusetts Agency on Aging and the Worcester County Sheriff's Office.